what originally inspired you to put this together, and how long did it take?
Doesn't like my beard. How long did it take? I think I've been working on this for about like five and a half, 6 months now. What inspired it is just, it's not necessarily that I wanted to show everyone else the world. I wanted to show I wanted to know the world myself. So this is something I just wanted to like document for myself. But sure enough, a lot of people, I guess, want to know what YouTubers do as well. So I kind of wanted to know about it, and I know that there was kind of like a demand for it. I know that a lot of people do daily vlogs and stuff, but it's not the same. You don't really see the rawness of what a YouTuber kind of goes through.
Now let's give it up for the stars, some of the stars of the movie. What was it like seeing your story on the big screen and through someone else's eyes?
Well, I'm not used to seeing myself talk on camera ever, and I never see myself in videos ever.
Very meta.
So that was hard. It was I really liked the juxtaposition that Dan chose, kind of like the progression of it, from like me and through everybody to Dan Brown, and like watching Dan Brown's story, I guess really like cap it, because I think that's everyone's big fear, is that suddenly to like, oh, I'm gonna do this great exciting project. Wow, I totally can't do this and I can't accomplish this. And now the moment of faith that people had in me is gone. I think that's like a massive fear a lot of YouTubers have. Maybe I'm just projecting. Somebody take the mic.
What I really loved, just echoing Hannah, was just seeing everybody's different story, because we're all, in this same medium industry, but all come at it from such different perspectives. And I remember when I first saw like one of the original cuts, like 2 months ago, maybe, when I first saw Dan Brown's part, I was so inspired by it, because of everyone else on the stage. I was more on the lower viewed end, and 200,000 views a month will not cut it. But thankfully, from 4 years experience in the internet medium space, I was able to take everything I learned, and I'm now social media manager for Maker Studios, doing all their social media across all their platforms, their Facebook, Google+, all that kind of stuff. So that's really exciting for me. I love it, and it's like, yes, I have a career, and I don't have to like Dan. I'm like, I don't have to worry about the numbers. It can just be like my independent YouTube channel again. So yeah, I know it was wonderful to get to see how idiotic I look on a big screen. It was wonderful.
What can people expect at Playlist next year?
Oh man, we have so much cool stuff for Playlist next year. I can't tell you a lot of it yet, but strippers. Why don't I just ask YouTubers here if they'll come and put them on the spot in front of everybody? No, a bunch of cool people are going to be there. It's going to be super awesome. And if you haven't gone to like VidCon or Playlist or any big gathering kind of thing, just go to one of them. It's so much fun. It's like crazy fun and something you like do not expect.
And it's just getting bigger, right? And even for you, since the first one.
We're doing better than we were in February last year for tickets. So I'm like really excited. It's not till March.
Wow.
And the funny thing is that it takes a movie or it takes a gathering sometimes for people to for it to really click in their head. But like 2 million subscribers, what are you at 3 now? Probably, I don't know. That's so many people, but sometimes it just doesn't make sense until you see 500 people in a room. And so literally that part right there about Playlist is my favorite part about this whole thing.
How have things evolved since shooting this? I've started to do more short films and things like that. Actually, in like 2 weeks, I'm going to be producing like a 40-minute short film with like 2 pretty big name actors. So I'm excited about that.
Do you continue then your YouTube channel while you're doing all that? Or how does that work? How does that balance happen?
It's tough, especially because I've had to do a bunch of other things at once, having to shoot like 2 brand deals at once, and then still do my YouTube channel, still do the sandbox stuff, still do the behind the scenes stuff. And I just got back from a 10-day trip, and I'm shooting this. So I'm doing pre-production for this huge short film something in the scale that I've never done before. So it's a lot of stuff being thrown at me all at once, but I enjoy the challenge, so I'm gonna keep working on it.
You have to create mini MysteryGuitarMan.
That's
in real life.
In real life, that's a little tougher, but I've been working on it.
Editing, the magic of editing. Hello, SeaNanners.
Why, hello there.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you.
And so what do you think it is, I guess, about this past 6 months for you, if things change? I know Machinima keeps growing, and you're still part of Machinima.
I would say that just in general, the demographic is very in line with gaming. I mean, obviously, of course, it's growing. My mom plays video games. My sister plays video games. It doesn't have to be, like a high school guy. It's definitely, being a little bit more broad nowadays. But for the most part, it's very accessible and it's very easy to create content whilst playing games because, I don't have to be in production for weeks or months. It's literally, let's play this mod that I just found and we're all in an elevator and we're going to some X, Y, and Z location. It makes no possible sense. It is very spur of the moment and is very, I think in general, kind of genuine. I think in general, a lot of people tend to look at gaming is kind of like, well, we're spending hours on our content and you're just playing a game. And I understand that frustration fully, but for the most part, it is very easy for everyone to be involved because of that. It's easy for me to be involved. It's easy for somebody you probably don't even know to be involved because you can literally have a computer, download software, purchase software, not for free. Well, it's probably going to be downloaded illegally. But, it's very accessible. Like if you have a Mac or a PC, you can be me. And that's kind of cool that you don't, there's the barrier to entry, of course, is your personality. But for the most part, it's like if you want to do something, if you think something's funny or entertaining, you can just be a part of that.
Why did you all think it was important to be part of this? And what message do you hope people leave with after they watch this in your story?
Well, I guess what I would hope, and this actually I want to tie into what SeaNanners just said about kind of accessibility, which is that video creation and editing and all these tools that we have readily available to us are becoming almost as common as like a pen and paper, right? And so there's so many different things you can do with like a pencil and paper, and there's so many different things you can do with video and create different styles of content, and everyone can jump on board with that. And so I guess to tie it in, the reason I decided I wanted to be a part of this is that I did not come from an entertainment background in the slightest. I had no aspirations to quote unquote get YouTube famous or this or that, but it was an opportunity that was presented that I could use the time that I had in my life to connect with people and to create content. And I guess what I really liked about the way Dan structured it was it really just kind of showed that it was inadvertent, but you have to make the choice to keep it going. Like, I had to choose to quit my job and sleep on couches and decide I'm gonna become one of those YouTube kids, and this will be that moment that I make that decision. So yeah, of course I wanted to be in a documentary. Documentary about YouTube, first of its kind. Why wouldn't I be in it?
I think that enthusiasm, though, is important, right?
Yeah.
And like
enthusiasm for life is important, guys.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons too. I saw a documentary about how people were coming up in the Boston scene with stand-up comedy, and they had footage from way back in the day of guys being like, "We don't know where this is going." I'm like, "Oh my God, that's us!" And then that's halfway through the documentary. So I felt like it was an important thing to tell. Also, I wanted to show that YouTube isn't sometimes isn't just setting up the camera and just going. Sometimes it's very precise thought, very difficult things that you have to do, and that's why I do behind the scenes videos and things like that, because then people can understand a little bit more about what I do. So I thought that was clearing the mystery a little bit, becoming just more of a guitar man. I don't use the guitars.
Don't lose your identity.
I'm really just a man now. So. Well, never mind.
I went to film school, but I've kind of thrown all the information out of my head. So as far as structure and all that stuff goes, I really don't even pay attention to it too much anymore. It's funny when we screened it at VidCon, Wheezy Waiter he said something along the lines of, "Oh, it's really good to watch this in front of people and hear them laugh, because as a YouTuber, I'll put something up and I'll film something and I'll think, this is so funny, but why is no one laughing?" And he thought it was really validating when he saw it and heard the crowd kind of go along with it and laugh. He thought it was people actually like it. People aren't just commenting, they're actually physically laughing. When I was shooting Adam, and he was like, "What do you want me to do?" I'm like, "Just play video games, man. I'll just shoot you." And he's like, "All right, cool." And I'm like, "This is what I do." And he just threw on the headset and just went at it and just talk to the screen and talk to Xbox, and that's why when at first I was like, I'm gonna hire this whole crew, I'm gonna go out with everyone, and eventually I was just like, it's not gonna come off genuine. I need to kind of be a fly in the wall, and I need to just kind of be there and kind of just I'm not even here. You know, just do your thing, and I'm gonna do my thing, and then that'll be it. So for the most part, I think that a lot of this came off really sincere and really natural as far as like how all their lives and how they shoot and how it goes.